You called the moon landing the Easter Bunny for adults.
Somebody tells you something and you just go, doesn't really make sense, right? I don't really know. But then suddenly psychology, what they realize that if you just keep saying to someone something, it becomes true. And again, the bigger the lie, people will believe it. So your gut tells you like, sounds pretty crazy that we went to the moon all these times for a couple of years and then we just didn't go back forever and we were just like done. Like, that sounds weird. And where's the technology? And they didn't even have cell phones. And like, you're telling me this, they live streamed this and there was a phone call. I don't know, like, it just seems like a little weird for like 1969. But you're like, well, I don't really understand kind of outer space. So I'm not going to debate this, but my gut tells me this is all BS. So then I decided to read this document. It was 119 pages. And I know there's a book too, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. And he just broke down the science in a way that was very digestible. So I didn't have a non-expert problem. And so there's a basic thing that you guys can do. If you're like somebody who's like, it had to have happened, the moon landing, what you can do is look up the Van Allen belt. Okay, so there's a Van Allen belt. So we have never gone beyond that belt, right? There's been no human that's gone beyond that belt since the moon landings, allegedly. And not even Elon Musk, when they go out to space, they have to stay, like, there is a space station, but like once you get 200 miles out, you hit the Van Allen belt, which has an incredible amount of radiation. NASA has said, like, in order for us to get through it, we'd have to have cement blocks around someone. So I want you to just Google, if you're watching this, the temperature of the Van Allen belt, okay? Just Google that. And you're gonna get something like, at the lowest points in the Van Allen belt, it's, I think, 3,000 Kelvin. And at the highest points, it's like 30,000 Kelvin. And then I want you to Google what material the shuttle was made out of. And then I want you to Google at what temperature
that would burn.
That would just burn. And you're just going to laugh out loud. You go, this literally doesn't make sense that an aluminum alloy could have gone through the Van Allen belt for an hour and a half or 59 minutes. It just couldn't have happened. It literally can't happen. There's no explanation for it. They just don't even talk about it. They don't like talking about the Van Allen belt because that part makes entirely no sense. And then he went through and he spoke about like the camera. So they allegedly took camera. I want you to Google the temperature of the moon. Okay, they had their big bulky gloves on. They took these cameras and just go, hey, what camera is that from 1969 that was able to survive temperatures of like 250 degrees of Fahrenheit to like negative 250 degrees Fahrenheit, just like on the moon while they were just like jumping around. And you're gonna go, where's this camera? Then Google's gonna tell you, oh, actually, they only made 8 of those cameras and they decided to give them, you're gonna love this, to a guy who makes movies. I'm blanking on the name of this guy who just a couple of years before the moon landing, he's a famous director. He made a movie about outer space. What's it? Kubrick, Stanley Kubrick. So he was friends with Jack Parsons, who established the Apollo program for NASA. So those two were friends. They were out in LA and they literally worshipped Satan. They were both Aleister Crowley recipients. So they were considered, the religion was called Thelema. And his protege was Jack Parsons. He was the creator of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which became the Apollo program. So Jack Parsons was a committed Satanist and they would have sex rituals. And it was him and the founder of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard, yeah.
Yes.